when I was coaching football, the most money I ever made was $28,000 a year. It was crazy, right? And now our agency does $1 million a month, and I believe that framework, anybody can do it. I really believe what I teach and what we teach, that anybody can do it. It's just a very proven system and a very proven framework that if you follow it, is going to give you a very consistent and predictable results.
Welcome back to the First Year Insurance Agent Podcast. And today I'm going to be talking about the importance of adopting and implementing a proven cross-selling system as a brand new agent, and how it's vital to not only your short-term profitability or ROI, but also your long-term success in this industry. And I can't think of a better person to have this discussion with than the king of cross-selling, Coach G. Mr. Chase Gruning is in the house. Chase, welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Rob, great to be here. I appreciate you reaching out, and I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, absolutely. And, before we dive into the secret sauce of cross-sellings, I know you have a lot to share today for our audience. I really want to talk about this collaborative mindset that you promote. As we were talking off camera, I have been a fan from afar for a while, and I love the fact that you're preaching collaboration because, I've been in the industry for about 8 years, and maybe you've seen this as well, but it seems like there's a lot of different factions or a lot of different groups. And if I'm friends with this person, I can't be friends with this person. Or if I'm in this group, I can't collaborate with this group. Talk about why you've adopted that type of mindset and how it's really beneficial for first-year agents to adopt that type of mindset early on.
Yeah, transparently, I saw the same thing. A couple of years ago, I've been in the industry for 10 years, and I saw from afar kind of people were choosing sides, and it just felt kind of like, hey, if you're over here, you're not over here, and we can't collaborate and do all these different things. So I saw a gap, and I believe that where you can solve a problem, there can be financial gain and there can be impact, right? And I saw that problem. So with my background of coaching, I coached college football for 5 years, coach high school for another 5 years, coach for 10 years. That's all I've ever done is work with people from all walks of life and try to get people to work towards the same mission, the same goal, the same everything. So I wanted to develop a platform that took my past of coaching and bring it to the industry to really encourage development and collaboration. And that's what we did is we developed an industry leading platform that you don't have to have any contracting affiliation with, where you can come develop. You can come develop as a producer. You can develop as an agency. We work through a 6, 7, 8-figure Medicare agency builders. And my goal stays the same. My message never changes. It's always going to be, we're a place to help you generate more revenue, more leads, and help you hire, develop, attract, retain more people. So I believe you can help people without a contracting affiliation. And that's what we've done. And we're working with some of the biggest FMOs, IMOs, and distribution companies in the country. And I will also say the market will always tell you if you're right or wrong. And when you do something new, when you do something that you're like, hey, I don't know if this is going to work, I always encourage people, just put it out there. And the market is going to tell you if you're right or wrong. And the market has told us in this situation that we hit the nail on the head and we're dead on, that people want support.
Yeah, and I definitely think you're right on in your message there, because I always tell people, if you're really going to serve people at the highest level, there is this sacrificial element to it. And I love the fact that what you're saying is, hey, we got this platform that you can plug into, and we're not even asking for contracts. We just want to help you get better. And here's the cool thing, because when they get better, when we all get better, would you agree with this, that the industry as a whole gets better?
Yeah, and we're going to get into cross-selling, but I've really seen it over the last 18 to 24 months. I see the movement of everybody diversifying their book of business. I see everybody really believing that this ancillary necessary protection is needed. And I think not only are we better serving our clients, but it's better serving the agent, the industry.
Yes.
It's insulating people. If you're relying solely on Medicare Advantage in this market, that would not be something I would sleep well with at night right now. And the
Agreed.
diversity of your book of business, we're no different than anybody else out there. We market exclusively to Medicare beneficiaries. Specifically, almost everything
Sure.
goes to the turning 65 market. But our monthly annual revenue, 80% of our monthly and annual new business revenue is from non-Medicare related products, which is crazy because
Wow.
we only go after a Medicare beneficiary. But when you
Mhm.
have a system and a process that lends itself to diversity, to the education of multiple products, it's going to ultimately impact your bottom and top line revenue.
No, and I want to go back to something you said just a few seconds ago, and that is, the market will tell you if you're headed in the right direction or not. And, going back to one of my first statements, I remember when I first got in the industry 8 years ago, and the organization I was with wasn't bad, but they didn't really have a systematic approach to cross selling. So as we transitioned into cross selling, you saw a gap there. Why did you feel that you were the person that needed to fill that gap? Because I'm assuming you saw that gap as well, and you took your coaching background and began to put a system together.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was more natural. I mean, my career started out as an LOA. So I started as an LOA, and I don't think that's a bad thing, right? I think LOA it kind of gets a bad rap to it. If you're in the right LOA system, it's phenomenal. For me, I was not in the right LOA system. I was basically an
Right.
independent broker that had an LOA structure, right? I did all of my marketing, I did all of my lead generation, I did everything.
Right.
And I was getting paid about 30% of the commission base. So
Mm.
it worked out because I learned everything, right? I learned how to run my own
Sure.
business. I basically I shadowed some people and I learned how to run my own business. So long story short, I became a solo agent, but all I was ever taught to do was knock on doors. I knocked on doors, Rob, for 3 years. And have you ever I
Wow.
don't know if you ever knocked on doors. It's terrible.
Yeah,
There's
it
there
is.
is n
Yes.
there is nothing glamorous about that. But what it teaches
Right.
you, the amazing thing about door knocking is it teaches you to be a phenomenal salesperson because
Yeah.
you just don't get a lot of opportunities. And when you do, you have to be really good at that opportunity. So for me, I was only getting into one household, maybe 2 per day. So I really had to package and I really had to provide multiple products to survive. So it was really more survival for me is that I learned how to cross sell and develop the sales system. But fast forward about 3 or 4 years, I started bringing people on, and then people started reaching out to me. They said, "Hey, we see what
Mm.
you're doing. Where you're at the top of these leaderboards on the ancillary, on the supplemental health, and you're doing something different than us. Can you teach me? Can you show me? Can you help me?" So people naturally started reaching out for help, and I mean, I believe I'm in the camp of yeah, I mean, I absolutely wanna help people all day long, but at the same time is I don't feel like people value free as an upline, right? There's
I
so many
agree.
different places that you can get training, you get development, get all these different things. So when I started doing this, I had a lot of people wanting my time and my business started to suffer, right? So
Sure.
that is exactly that point where I transitioned to developing a system, developing a platform, developing a program that is now known as the Optimize, Amplify, Scale framework that teaches people to do exactly what I've done. That teaches people how to build a thriving Medicare practice that does multiple lines of insurance. And now, I mean, I started off. I mean, I when I was coaching football, the most money I ever made was $28,000 a year. It was crazy, right? And now our agency does $1 million a month, and I believe that
Wow.
that framework, anybody can do it. I really believe what I
Sure.
teach and what we teach that anybody can do it. It's just a very proven system and a very proven framework that if you follow it is going to give you a very consistent and predictable results.
Yeah, no, I know you teach people all across the country. You're doing different events, different conferences. So you're running into agents all the time, new agents and seasoned agents. Talk about some of the biggest barriers you see from like agents embracing cross selling. Because I know, like, when I've done training, because I've been a cross selling guy for years as well. I run into people that really struggle with this. Well, I don't want to be salesy and I don't want to be pushy. Talk about maybe some of the barriers and challenges that you've seen with new agents or just agents in general and what you teach to kind of overcome those things.
Yeah, well, there's 2 things here. I mean, I hate saying it's a mindset. I feel like that's an overused term, you know what I'm saying? But
Sure.
you really do have to change your mindset. Like when a new agent comes into our practice, they don't know anything different. right? They don't know how
Sure.
to sell just a Medicare policy. So if you put yourself in the mindset of a brand new agent that comes into our office, they don't even have a choice. They don't know
Right.
anything different from day one. And they have a supreme advantage because this is all they ever know. This is the process. This is what you do. Now, an experienced agent, it's
Yeah.
always hard to number one, change your process. Uncomfort
Yes.
is hard. Uncomfort is growth. I always use the example when you go work out, when you think about it, you literally go work out and rip your muscles apart. You tear them apart. Physically, your muscles are tearing so they can grow
Right.
back strong. And that's exactly what you're doing when you develop and implement a new sales process is you're tearing apart your mental muscles so they grow back stronger. So that's where the first thing needs to happen is you really need to change your process. But the second thing I would say is if you're in the insurance industry and you're watching this, I would assume that you consider yourself a professional. Now, when you
Right.
think about a professional athlete, they train every single day, right? Pros should be training every single day. If you're a professional insurance agent, you should be training every single day. We have mandatory everyday training for our internal agents. Every single day they have to train. We do role playing, we do call recording, we do scripting, we call them flashcards where we put up a scenario and you got to make a recommendation within like 2 seconds. So there's so many different training things that we do, and confidence is the memory of success. So when you start
Right.
having success on the cross-selling side, you become confident. And confidence breeds clarity, and clarity breeds sales. So there's a formula to it, but at the end of the day, it's a consistent process equals consistent results. If you don't have a consistent process, you're going to have inconsistent results. And that's all that we do is we create a process that has 100% predictable results, and everybody has to follow that process. When I walk out to the sales floor, every single agent on that sales floor should basically sound the same. And that's how consistent a process should be.
Yeah, and I love that, and I was watching one of your videos, and you said, I'm paraphrasing, but it reminded me of what I say a lot too, because there's so many people, especially seasoned agents, that don't understand that our culture as a whole, but specifically if I'm talking about insurance, they've been pre-programmed or been indoctrinated for years to buy or to get multiple policies to protect themselves, right? Even Allstate, when you see Allstate, when you watch college football, you watch sports, they're always talking about bundling. Expand on that because I see that as a challenge for so many agents that if the culture's already been pre-programmed or indoctrinated to do this, then why aren't we doing that as Medicare agents?
Yep. And I'll tell a quick story. I worked with Rene Rodriguez. He's a world-renowned
Okay.
speaking coach, and he
Okay.
trains teams, he trains individuals. But I spent 2 days at a very intense kind of boot camp on speaking and influence and all these different things. And one thing that he taught me that will always stick with me is when you can get your team or when you can get somebody to have that aha moment. You know what I'm talking about? When you have an aha moment, you never forget it. It's like, aha,
Yes.
why didn't I think of that? Well, that's what you want your clients to have. You want them to have that aha moment, or you want your agents to have that aha moment. And what stuck for me is when you go to Starbucks, when you go to McDonald's, when you go buy anything, what do they ask you? If you want to, I want to drink from Starbucks. What do they ask you, Rob?
What size? Yeah.
What size? Do you want a small, medium, or large?
Yeah.
We as
Right.
consumers are taught to make choices from a menu. So why are we not offering insurance in that way? Why are we not offering a menu of insurance? And guess what? Our small, you cannot buy an item on the menu that doesn't have an ancillary. We don't offer our small, medium, or large. Our small has a cancer, heart, and stroke policy in it, a Medicare policy, and a cancer, heart, and stroke. Our medium has a cancer, heart, and stroke, and a hospital indemnity in it with a Medicare policy. Our large has a cancer, heart, and stroke, a hospital indemnity, and a recovery care, short-term care policy in it. So when we offer insurance, it's that small, medium, or large concept, and consumers are taught to make purchases in that way.
No, I definitely love that for sure because like I said, I when we've done training on our end over here, it's amazing to me how many people just don't think of it that way, right? They think
Yeah.
they're pushy, they're going to be salesy. Maybe it's the fear of hearing no. But if these people have invested in policies or other multiple things their whole life, a lot of times it's just because they're not bringing it up in their sales process. And I love the fact that you're training every single day, because a lot of people are waiting on confidence. And I always tell people your confidence is going to catch up. You said it earlier that it's consistency, right? Consistency, plugging into a consistent process and training every single day. So let's talk about this. Let's say there's a brand new agent watching this today. Their first year in the business, they got their Medicare, health and life license, they got their AHIP, they're ready to go. Where would they start if they wanted to plug into this optimize, amplify scaling system, right? I just want to make it bottom shelf cookies here, where
Yep.
these new agents can say, hey, what is my first few steps to getting plugged into a system like this that's going to set me up for long-term success?
Yeah, we do free trainings and boot camps all the time. I mean, our YouTube channel is just loaded with immense amount of value in trainings. So, I mean, I would honestly start there. That's a free place to start. But we have entry-level boot camps. I'm doing a virtual event that I haven't announced yet, Rob. This is the first place I've announced it on Rob's podcast.
Awesome.
I love it.
Let's
So we're
go.
doing a virtual event next month for $97. It's like 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock, where we're going to be going over the entire framework for 6 hours. So that would be an awesome entry-level place to start. I've got a boot camp tomorrow called the Cross Sell, or it's today. Shoot, right after this, I've got my boot camp, the Cross Sell King, where I go over our exact sales process. So we have a lot of mini boot camps, and then the coach's office is obviously our flagship 12-month platform program. But I would just start on our YouTube channel. It's gonna help you immensely. We've got so many trainings on there and so many different things. But that's my goal, is to really give back to an industry that's given us so much.
Yeah, and let me ask you this too, because I really want to break down a little bit more in regards to the optimize, amplify, and the scale part. So, if a new agent is watching this today, and they're just saying, "Hey, I want to cross sell. It sounds great, but I'm still trying to learn all this Medicare stuff." Is this something that they can plug into pretty seamlessly, and within 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, they're really at a level where they're operating at a pretty efficient level?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Our I want to make it very clear. Our platform is designed for a brand new agent all the way to an
Hmm.
agency making 8 figures. So there's
Hmm.
a place to plug in all along the way, and that's what the Optimize, Amplify, Scale framework entails. Is step number one is optimizing. We're developing a systematic and proven sales system that delivers. We deem Optimize, most agents are doing $300 to $600 in revenue per new Medicare client. We're teaching you how
Right.
to get past $1,200 in revenue per new Medicare client. That is an optimized sales process. So we're teaching you everything about your Medicare presentation, how to run a client needs assessment, how to go through an appointment, how to prospect, all those different things. And once we get to that place where we are optimized, which we deem $1,200 or more in revenue per client, then we're moving on to Amplify, which Amplify, once you think about it, is just taking what you have that is so good, an optimized sales process, and you're bringing it to the masses through paid digital advertising and funnel building. And Rob, I've seen your ads. I know you're in the Amplify. I know you're amplifying right now. So you have, I know from what we talked about, you've cross-sold for a long time. You have an incredible
Yeah.
sales system. And then all you
Yeah.
do now with that sales system is you force leads to you through digital advertising and marketing, through funnel building and lead generation. And then once you have all these leads that you can't handle anymore, then you just
Right.
scale it with people and systems and processes. But I believe that scale, bringing on incredible people and developing them, is the hardest part about growing any business.
Yes.
And I feel like that's where the value really comes in, is we teach you how to attract, hire, develop, and retain top talent. I believe that you can develop anybody, but what I can't develop is the intangibles of being coachable, being driven, being motivated. So that's really all we look for is, are you coachable? Are you driven? Are you motivated? And I believe our sales process and what we teach, we can develop anybody.
Yeah, and kind of going back to the optimize part, and then I want to ask a question about the amplify as well. Is on the optimize part, will you break it down even more? Because you talked about the average agent, $300 to $400, per sit down or over the phone or Zoom or whatever, and talk about the importance of having that extra revenue. Because a lot of times it's more than just bringing in commission, right? I've heard your talks where you're talking about, hey, I don't think you're a professional if you're not protecting your clients at the highest level. So talk about it from both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanna talk about it just from the consumer professional standpoint first. I
Sure.
mean, in we run Medicare 101 webinars across the country. We bring in thousands of leads
Right.
per week, and if you watch one of our Medicare 101s, one of the first things I say when I introduce skilled nursing is I say, "Hey, if you are talking to somebody, a Medicare agent, and they haven't introduced to you the importance of skilled nursing and let you know that Medicare doesn't cover anything after 100 days, then you should run for the hills." And my point with that
Right.
being is if you're a Medicare agent out there and you're not talking about skilled nursing, if you're not talking about the cancer, heart, and stroke exposure, if you're not talking about ways to cover up the hospital copays on an MA, then I don't
Hmm.
think you're doing your job, first and foremost.
Right.
So I feel like you're doing a disservice to your client by only offering a Medicare product. But let's look at your pocketbook as well. So not
Sure.
only are you doing a disservice to your prospect or your client, but you're doing a disservice to yourself because
Yes.
if you're just selling a Medicare product, you're getting a $300 to $600 commission on the street, okay, roughly. Now, if you package and present these ancillary products that Rob and I are talking about, you can literally triple or quadruple
Yes.
your revenue
Yes.
in totality. And I'm telling you, that's the difference between slow growth, because if you're just selling a Medicare policy, it's a slow burn on building a Medicare agency. You're waiting on
Fact.
residual in that second or third year. You're barely profitable. But if you're packaging and offering these multiple products, I mean, you're in scale mode, you're in growth mode, and you're cash
Mhm.
flowing. So I haven't even talked about annuities. I mean, we have an annuity side as well. I mean, we have never paid for an annuity lead. That all comes from our Medicare book of business. I've written over $30
Yes.
million in annuity from our Medicare book of business. And
Yes.
there's just so much opportunity sitting there. And if you're not in a position where you've been trained or educated on what to do there, I'm telling you, it can completely change your business and help you
Yes.
grow so much faster and expedite that growth.
Yeah. Man, I'm so glad you brought that up because that is one thing that I emphasize when I'm talking to agents, that retirement has to be part of the cross-selling conversation.
Yep.
And I'll just share it this way. We have two assistants here, and our retirement part pays for two assistants here in our
Yep.
office, pays so much for our marketing and other things. We would not be able to do some of the things, even though we do our best to cross-sell at the highest level possible, the ancillary. The retirement is definitely a game changer. So I totally agree with that. Real quickly on the Amplify side, I want to talk to you about building in-house lead generation. There's this kind of, you hear one school of thought and you hear another school of thought. A brand new agent, or let's just say a first year agent, should they buy leads right out of the gate? I know you're a big advocate of building your own marketing. Talk about that for a minute, because maybe there's somebody out there listening or watching this today that just goes, hey, I don't really know how to get started to get leads in the funnel.
Yeah. And I think that can go both ways, but ultimately you
Sure.
want to own your marketing. And on the front end
Yes.
of that, you can have third parties help facilitate you, but I would
Hmm.
always recommend from day one, own that. For example, we build your
Sure.
marketing system that you own it. I never want to own any of your things, right? I want to help you
Right.
build your own agency and build all your own assets. But we have a team that can help you run it while you're learning it, while you're building, right? And I think it's super important to own your assets, own your website, own your marketing, own your agency, right? And you can outsource people that can run it for you. For example, I've got a large payroll. I've got a director of marketing. I've got a director of communications, a director of blah, blah,
Sure.
blah, right? And they are highly paid people. You don't need to have highly paid people. You can outsource contractors where you pay them $1,000 a month to run your ads, but you still own your marketing, right? And
Yeah.
that's what I always tell people is we want to bring in specialists, right? If you're a new agent, you're a specialist at generating revenue. You should be allocating all your time to generating revenue, owning your assets and hiring people to run those while generating revenue and going that way. And then eventually you can bring in your
Yeah.
own in-house person or you can run it yourself. I mean, for years I ran my own marketing, right? But then I realized, okay, that's my biggest expense. I'm spending a
You're right.
couple $1 million a year in marketing. Why do I not have a specialist, somebody that is the best of the best, somebody that is trained, that has a career in media buying and running ads. Why are they not doing that? So I brought in a
Right.
specialist. I bought my time back, and I'm able to put all my time where it's best served. And I now have a specialist running this. My cost per lead is lower. Our our intent is up, our booking percentage is up. So when you hire people in the right capacities, it should make you money, right? But I believe in owning your assets. So to answer that question in a very concise format is I don't think you should be buying leads, period. I think you should be building your own assets and then contracting people to run those assets or getting help on the front end.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm a person that doesn't want to know all of that because I just want to be talking to people and coaching people and all those kind of things. And so we use a third party source, but we own all of it. I agree.
Yep,
I think that's a
exactly.
nugget right there that all of you watching or listening today, you need to own your leads because you have full control on where they're coming from, right? And so I definitely love that as well. Let's finish today with the scale part of things. I see so many agents, and I want to hear your opinion on it because I've heard you talk about it before. I see some people try to scale before they do the other two.
Mhm.
Or what is your thoughts and your opinion on should a new agent try to grow a team within their first year? Should they wait, 2 to 3 years? I know it's a subjective thing because everybody's different, but I would love to hear your opinion on the scale part.
Yeah, I mean, I think scale is thrown around a lot right now. That word is just
Yeah,
overused and thrown around a lot. And I look back at the last 10 years and I just know from experience that because I've screwed up a lot. I mean, we haven't talked about a lot of the screw ups, right? I'm sure you've screwed up a lot too, Rob.
yeah,
And
yeah.
everybody sees the
All
finished
the
product
time.
right now, and we've got a
Right.
thousand brokers and all those different things, but no one sees what it took to get there. And the lessons that I've learned is I have put that cart before the horse before, right? And tried to
Sure.
bring on anybody with a heartbeat just to have brokers and just to have numbers and just to have all those different things. But if you don't have a just incredible sales system, if you don't have incredible lead flow, if you don't have incredible support, then people are ultimately going to come and go, right? And
Fact.
I just think a lot of people see the shiny object, which is a team, which is the word scale, and want to skip a couple steps. And
Yeah.
you're going to find out quickly where the kinks in the armor are. So I would recommend. I mean, just looking back is understand. Okay, there are very specific metrics that we look for when we scale. Like we don't scale until we hit $20,000 in revenue per employee per month. So if you're a solo producer
Right.
out there, like I would not be duplicating yourself until you're worth duplicating, right? So can
Fact.
you can you consistently produce $20,000 per month in revenue, which is around 40 to 50 apps depending on your commission schedule? Because that's a sales process I would want to duplicate. If you have a system that's only generating $5,000, $10,000 a month and only 15 or 20 apps, that's not duplicatable. And if you don't have a lead generation system that you can turn up, like if I added 10 agents tomorrow, I can just turn up my lead flow, right? It
Yeah.
allows me to scale. So I think a lot of people just skip some steps, and it ultimately you're taking some major setbacks because that is a dangerous game to play. Is growing too fast or overspending or overscaling, if you will.
Yeah, and such great advice too, because I like to say it this way, Chase, that it's so easy to get seduced by the sexy and shiny in this industry, right? The new platform, the new this, the new that, and that's going to solve all my problems. And I love the fact that what you said is, listen, are you worth duplicating? I mean, that's fire right there. Like you need to go back and
Yeah.
listen to that part for those that are watching today. Are you worth duplicating? And if you don't have that process in place, then you're not, right? You're just going to wind up sabotaging your business long term if you do not have these other pillars in place. Chase, as we close today, let me ask you this. If the Chase now, I think you said you've been in the business about 10 years,
Yep.
roughly, and the Chase today, if he could go back to year one, Chase, knowing what you know now, and because this is the first year insurance agent podcast, what's some advice or some tips that you would go back and give to that first year, Chase, knowing what you know now that could help some people that are watching today?
Yeah. When I wrote my book, I spent a whole chapter on that because I think that's such an important question. And I almost said it beforehand. I'm so glad you asked this because if I were to go back, I mean, I'll tell you what, I would consider myself very entrepreneurial. I've got real estate. I've been involved in all these different things, but I feel like I have two businesses. Our businesses have really grown in the last 3 or 4 years, and I completely attribute that to eliminating distractions. Right? If I go back to year
Mm.
one Chase, I would say, put your blinders on. And I got this from Rory Vaden. If you imagine a brick wall behind me and you had a sledgehammer, and I just started taking that sledgehammer and I just started hitting it all over the wall, it would take me forever to break down that wall. But think if I took that sledgehammer and I just hit the same spot over and over and over again. Well, I'm going to break through that wall so much faster. And that's what you need to do as a new agent is you need to pick that one spot and you need to hammer it. And you need to 100% focus. I get so many opportunities thrown at me every day. Everybody wants me to affiliate this. Everybody wants me to do that. I say no 95% of the time. And that's what's allowed us to grow so fast is we are so focused on what we do and we know what our lane is and we accelerate through that. And if you want to exit or you want to have that big liquidity event, that's when you diversify, right? Is when you have a lot of money, right? And you have a lot of assets. But when you're doing something new and you're a first year agent, you should be so sharply pointed and so narrowly focused on what you're doing, and you eliminate anything that doesn't take you straight to your goals.
Yeah, no, that's so good because once again, it's just so easy to get seduced by so many things in this industry. And I agree with you, right? You start having success and everybody's trying to get you to do this and do that and do this. And I agree when
Write this
Gina and I,
product,
my
write
wife,
that product, go to this carrier. I mean,
yeah,
there's so many
yeah,
different things that can get thrown at you and then do this system or whatever. So it's just really, really diluted focus equals diluted results, right? We have
boom.
got
Yeah,
we have got
yeah.
to stay extremely focused and extremely eye on the prize type deal.
Yeah, no, I love Roy Vaden, man. He's my
Yep.
guy. I watch a lot of his content, and when Gina and I, my wife and I started over 4 years ago, that was our motto. We were just gonna stay focused, 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 because everybody wanted you to do this, everybody wants you to do this, get this system, get that, and we just stayed focused. And I always tell people, Chase, that breakthrough is a cliche word that we throw out there a lot, but what I have found in my life is that breakthrough comes from consistently doing the basics and boring day in and day out, right?
Yep.
Showing up every day and doing the stuff that gets very mundane and gets very boring. You know what I'm talking about. Picking up the phone again, calling the people again, door knocking, been there again. But when you do that consistently enough, John Maxwell says that consistency compounds. And you look up one day because of that laser focus and get rid of distractions. And man, you just got this machine, on your hands that's just
And
producing like crazy.
I'm seeing it with you, Rob. I mean,
Yeah.
I started noticing your stuff about 6 months ago, and I
Yeah.
guarantee you peel the onion back, you've been doing this, and now it's just the frequency and the consistency that is
Facts.
is leading to exposure and leading to bigger opportunities. And that's what so many people miss is they think that I need to do all these different things. I preach the same message on the same stages. I'm like Journey singing "Don't Stop Believing." I say the same thing over and over again. But people are starting
Right.
to sing that song, and that's where you become
Yeah.
known, and that's where something sticks is when you bring that message through frequency and consistency over and over and over again.
Well, and let me finish by saying this is going back to collaboration. I reached out to you because your content has encouraged me, has challenged me. I love what you're doing for the industry. And I am the same mindset, right? I want to learn. I want to get better. I want to connect with people that are wanting to do something in this life and make this industry better. So I definitely love what you're doing. Real quickly, where can people connect with you at? Definitely put a link down to your book down in the video description. But if people want to plug into the Coach G system, is there a specific website they need to go to? They just need to follow you on Facebook, connect with you there. Give us that information.
Yeah, it's super simple. And when you go to our website, coachghuddle.com, first thing that's going to pop up is a free link to our book. So you can download a digital copy of our book for free, and it's Building Championship Insurance Teams and Producers. So we walk you through the framework in book format. It was a #1 bestseller, featured on the NASDAQ, and hoping to have another one coming out here soon. But everything that you would need to get in touch with us or plug in with us is on our website, coachghuddle.com. And I look back I'm sure you've been in the same situation, Rob, is when I left coaching, I mean, I thought that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I thought I was going to be a college
Mhm.
football coach. I thought I was going to be in the big time and be in the
Right.
NFL and all these different things. When I left college football, I thought I was giving a major portion of my life away, right? I thought I was giving up. And I mean, 10 years later now, I've been in the insurance industry, and coaching taught me everything. And it taught me how to coach insurance agents, and it taught me how to lead this platform and really bring building a championship team. I won a championship. It taught me how to build a championship team in insurance. So I always say it's just like that, only different. And coaching gave me everything. The insurance industry has given me everything, and that's what we're on a mission to do is just help everybody become a championship producer. And if you want to build a championship team, we can do that too. And we have the framework, and that's what we're providing to the industry.
Absolutely. Well, thank you once again for spending a few minutes with me today. If you enjoyed today's podcast and interview, please take a moment to hit the like button. Comment down below if there's something that Chase and I didn't talk about today. We would love to hear the feedback, and I promise you we'll get you those answers. Hit the subscribe button for me. This just allows me to get this content out to more first-year agents like yourself. And by the way, if you want to see how to generate $500K using Medicare seminars, then I want you to go and watch this next interview here.